Welcome to Naturally Inspired Radio, where we expose what's broken in the healthcare system, connect you to real health solutions, and inspire you to take back control of your life. We want to help you feel empowered, informed, and free to live naturally without fear, confusion, or dependency. Download our latest book on real solutions for health at naturallyinspiredradio.com. Naturally Inspired Radio is a nationally syndicated show broadcast on over 100 radio stations, online platforms, video channels, and podcast feeds. Follow us on your favorite platform today, hit that like button, leave a comment, and engage in our special live stream chats, Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Visit naturallyinspiredradio.com to learn more, register for our weekly giveaway, and explore past episodes. You can also connect directly with Tammy, follow her on all major social media platforms, and discover more about our featured guests and trusted radio partners. Are you looking for better health? Work with Tammy today and take the first step toward a healthier, more empowered lifestyle. Schedule your complimentary 30-minute lifestyle assessment to explore personalized guidance on nutrition, movement, toxin-free living, and natural beauty without pharma. Get started now and discover Tammy's preferred health products at naturallyinspiredstore.com or text Tammy directly 720-303-8868. Love the show and want to support the movement? Head over to naturallyinspiredradio.com and click on the support tab. There you'll find all the ways you can get involved. Join our Naturally Inspired community, become a preferred customer, attend one of our amazing live events, get your backstage pass for exclusive access, and connect to all things naturally inspired. Thank you for tuning in today. Now sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
The information and other content provided on this radio show or in any linked materials is provided for informational purposes only, not intended and should not be construed as medical advice. It is not a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment.
Welcome, welcome. Good morning, good morning. Do you have your coffee? Do you have, listen, I think you might need your coffee for this one. I'm just warning you up front, okay? So if you don't have your coffee, go get it, okay? Because I think you're going to need it. Welcome to Naturally Inspired Radio. I'm so glad you're joining me today. Another beautiful day here in Northern Colorado. I don't know, like a little bit of moisture happened last night, so that's good. But yeah, you know, it's still, dare I say, it's still pretty warm. Yeah, walking around there in a tank top in January. So I don't know, I'm loving it, but that's all I'm going to say about it. I got a great show for you today. First of all, just let me say this, okay? You remember when all the Candace drama started, right? And everybody's freaking out, just, oh my gosh, he said this and blah, blah. And I said, you know, just let her go, right? As the kids say now, let her cook, right? Because I had this feeling, you know, as she kind of dove into it, that we were going to learn things, okay? And, I know there's a lot of people out there that are like, oh, she's crazy and, you know, she's nuts and she's ruining the movement and we're going to lose the primaries. don't think we're going to lose the primaries now. Just a lot of things are going on. And I don't know, I honestly, I'll be upfront with you. I don't pay too much attention to politics. I mean, I'm into the stories of the day, and I'm into how trying to like decode what's really going on. But as far as like, the primaries and who's running for that and this speech and that speech, not really. And because it's mostly theatrics, And so anyway, I know that was a big concern for a lot of people, that she's going to mess everything up. I feel like there's been a huge comeback from the MAGA movement, from the MAHA movement. A lot of things happening, right? A lot of positive things. I mean, vaccine schedule. I mean, I still can't even really believe it. We've got a different food pyramid. They're going after insurance companies. Now, is everything just perfect? No, it's not. But man, a lot of things are happening that are great. Okay. So, I would say just listen to what I'm saying here. Okay. Just listen. So when I was saying, let her cook, right? Let Candace cook. Let her go. Who cares? Who cares? Right? Why is everybody getting so emotional about it? Like, if she is wrong, well, she is going to fall flat on her face. Great. That's the consequence of doing shoddy journalism, right? So just let her go. Let her go. I did have a feeling, though. I'm going to tell you. I did have a feeling. There was something spiritual going on with Candace, okay? And I knew she just wasn't sitting right with her. And it was my perception, and you don't have to believe this, okay? But it was my perception there might have been a little bit of Holy Ghost involved there. Because just her conviction and, the way she was just, staring you down into the camera, just staring you down, like she just was convicted. And so my thought was, listen, I'm not going to judge what she's doing here. I just want to see where this is going, because I don't know where it's going. I think people were very concerned it was going like anti-Semitic, and that, it was going to cause hate. And I don't see it doing that. I don't see it doing that. In fact, the only hate I see going on, if you can call it hate, I mean, I don't know. I'm not really, I don't even believe in hate speech, right? Hate speech is a made up word. I just, I don't believe in it. It's their speech we don't like, that whole deal. But there's no such thing as hate speech. Okay. But the only let me just tell you, the only lies, flat out lies I'm seeing, they're about her. The lies I'm seeing online. I mean, I'm just telling you point blank, listen, take it or leave it. I'm watching what she's saying. I'm watching it. And then I go online and I see some influencer, right? Some conservative influencer do a post about her and take her words, like a snippet of a clip of something, and then concoct this entire story around it. Like the example that comes to mind is on her one of her shows. She was talking about this girls' home. There was a girls' home down south, and it was helping pregnant girls. And I think it's still in operation today, actually. But anyway, she was talking about this lady contacted her, told her about her story, about, how she was sent down there. She's a super young pregnant girl, like 13 or 14 years old, I think. And this girls' home helped her through her pregnancy and whatnot. Anyway, the lady was telling Candace her story, and Candace recorded it, right? And so she was commenting on that, about how this lady had told her this story. Well, this influencer on X, who, by the way, doesn't actually have a photo of themselves. It's just like one of those avatar things, but it's a huge account. It framed it as though Candace was accusing Erica Kirk of this, having a baby and a girl. Like, it was just bizarre. Flat out lie. Flat, like, just lie. I watched the show. Okay? So that's the kind of lying I'm seeing. That's the kind of lying I'm seeing. I'm not actually seeing or hearing any lies from Candace. Anything that she gets wrong, she comes back and corrects, and she has receipts. So why is everybody acting this way about this topic? That's the deeper question, right? Why is everybody acting so blah about her looking into this? Now, I know a lot of people will throw around anti-Semitic behavior. You know, it's anti-Semitic and it's going to make people hate Jews. She's not even talking about Jews. Not even. She's talking about something, and I mentioned this yesterday on the show, that is much deeper. Okay? Much, much deeper. So this is where you might need your coffee, you know? So listen, I grew up in a little suburb of Victoria, British Columbia called Esquimalt, BC. And I just happened to kind of grow up in between an Indian reservation and a Navy base, you know? So that's where I grew up. I was raised by teenagers. My parents were teenagers when they got married. And, you know, so that gives you an idea of how I grew up. A white gal living in a lower middle class, working class home, living in between a Navy base with a whole bunch of, you know, sailors around. So you can imagine, we called them pongos, by the way, but they were sailors. And then an Indian reservation, which we now call First Nations people. I'm sorry. Okay. So I had this influence, these two influences, like in my classrooms, like, you know, it was everywhere. And so, you know, I had mild exposure to things like magic, spiritual, like native practices, I guess you could say. But listen, I didn't grow up around witchcraft. Okay. When I was like maybe a teenager, I think my mom went and saw a psychic once, you know, like that was about the level of exposure I had to like any witchcraft. Okay. But then I married a Mexican. And I'll tell you, this is like ingrained into their culture, as it is like, you know, so I did some research. Okay. So I'm just trying to get you to understand that I didn't grow up thinking like witchcraft exists, black magic existed. You know, I had the Native American spiritual influence in my life growing up. So I was like aware of shamans and things like that, but it was very limited. Okay. And my parents weren't even religious. Like they were atheists. Like I took God into my heart, took Christ into my heart when I was 6 years old from some other kid in my school that was a Christian. My parents didn't have anything to do with it. And that's like literally the exposure I had to spirituality growing up. I always felt like because I did that at 6 years old, so innocently on the playground, that it's kind of just guided my life. So witchcraft, as it turns out, though, like almost every culture has some form of witchcraft that they know about, that they turn to. It's really ingrained in everybody's culture. And so like I did some research on it. Okay. So every human culture has had beliefs or factions involving magic, ritual, spiritual power, even including European cultures. But what differs is how those beliefs are framed, how they're named, and how they're socially accepted, or whether they're not socially accepted, or whether they even exist. Across history, humans have tried to explain illness this way, explain death, fertility, weather, misfortune, influence beyond unseen forces, protection against perceived threats spiritually. And they've also been in pursuit of gaining power spiritually, like healing or even insight. This shows up as shamanism, witchcraft, sorcery, ritual, prayer, mysticism. Just depends on the culture and the time. Stay tuned. You'll see where I'm going with this, and you're not going to want to miss it. This is Naturally Inspired Radio. We'll be right back.
Did you know that a single collagen supplement could support your heart health, help protect against EMF exposure, and reduce inflammation all at the same time? Our preferred foundational collagen not only supports radiant skin and joint mobility, but also promotes heart health, reduces inflammation, strengthens hair and nails, provides added protection against the effects of EMF exposure, and so much more. Our favorite collagen is super absorbable and easy to take. Just 1 tablespoon in the morning and another in the evening for maximum benefits. Here's what our listeners have to say.
This collagen is so easy to take, I've noticed a huge difference in my hair and nails after just a few weeks.
Since I started using Tammy's preferred collagen, my joints feel more flexible and my skin looks smoother.
Try it today at naturalinspiredradio.com/collagen. When you purchase from Naturally Inspired, you get access to our group health coaching call and so much more. Go to naturalinspiredradio.com/collagen.
You can connect to real solutions for health by heading over to naturallyinspiredstore.com. There's a little tab there. It says January specials. If you click on that, it will take you to our huge January specials, which we still have over 25 products that are buy one, get one free. This is a wonderful way to stock your wellness cabinet. You know, having those things on hand, it's a necessity nowadays, especially as more and more people are taking personal responsibility for their health. So support the show and get the tools that you need for your optimum health journey at naturallyinspiredstore.com. All right. So like, you know, in the Mexican culture or, I guess, you know, what Jason grew up knowing about was kind of like black magic and Santeria. Okay, but every culture kind of has this. In indigenous cultures, it's like shamans or medicine people. There's witches, you know, good witches, white witches, black witches. I don't know if I believe there's any really, I don't know. Anyway, African traditions have their understanding of it too. Amazonian ayahuasca traditions are centered around this. And even Australians have their own belief system when it comes to this, and they call it the clever men. So outsiders call it kind of witchcraft, cosmology, medicine plus psychology combined. In the Western world, this stuff is like all been kind of put into one ball of wax, and it's like new age, I feel like. But everybody has their understanding of something else beyond the norm, right? I guess that's what you could say. And everybody has in the past too. The Druids, you know, there's alchemy, folk magic, ceremonial magic, and so many other things. Everybody's got this belief system that something deeper is there. So the reason why I bring that up, okay, is because I have felt like Candace has been cooking on this, and the way I understand it, and listen, this is just my opinion. This is just my opinion, okay? But the way the world works, when I call out the cult, when I say, yeah, that's the cult, I believe that there is a a group of people, okay, and I think it's pretty widespread. I think there is levels of how deep people are into the cult, if you will. But I think what unites them is this kind of belief in darker energy. And a lot of times that darker energy hides in the most, in the opposite, where you would think they wouldn't be. That's where they are. So in this case, I've been picking on the church, and this is kind of why. I've been kind of, suggesting, hey, the church is a great veil for a lot of things. And the way I understand it, and this is, again, just my take, is that there is this darker force, and they do all kind of subscribe to this practice of ritualism. If you want to call it witchcraft, you want to call it black magic, whatever you want to call it. And that's kind of what unites them. So I'm going to do my best here to explain. So I've got a couple clips I want to share with you. So first, this is from yesterday's episode of the Candace Owens Show. Take a listen.
Amfest that Tucker spoke at. Andrew called me up and he asked me, and I'm not kidding, in earnest, he asked me, "Are you a witch?" I laughed at him on the phone. I was in London and I said, "No, why? What a ridiculous thing to ask me." And he said, "Well, because we just noticed that when some people attack you, really bad things happen to them." And then he proceeded to tell me, which I did not know, quite horrifically, that Dennis Prager, who had just written this open article about me, and it was not done in a very nice way, had actually fallen, and he was very seriously injured. There was nothing funny about that. And that he was, having to speak out and type out of his mouth. And then he kind of went backwards and was like, the Daily Wire thing and the Jordan Peterson thing, and like bad things are happening to people after they attack you. So then I realized he was being serious. He was like asking that question seriously. And I remarked to him, "No, but I have really bad rebounds, not just from other people, but to me as well. I've explained this to you guys that if I do something bad, I immediately, the karma of it, I would experience. Like if I stole your phone today, if it was just sitting on a counter and I stole it from a restaurant, I'd go back home and my house would be burned to the ground. That's my kind of very swift karma hits me fast." Anyways, the point is that despite this bizarre question that he asked me about witchcraft, it's him that's the one that's orchestrating all of these attacks, and they have been backfiring on Turning Point USA. And I now understand why exactly it is that he's been leading these attacks, and Liberty University was actually the key. We spoke about the Moonies cult, right? That's what we spoke about on Thursday. I told you guys all about this Korean man, Sun Myung Moon, who was actually working for the CIA, Assad, while leading effectively what became a religious cult. They were buying up land, buildings, entire blocks, all these different companies, while convincing the masses that it was actually for the Father. Moon had minted himself as a Messiah.
It's just interesting. The thought came into my mind. You know who else buys up land and has private equity firms and real estate and churches? These mega churches. So the thing is, I think one of the biggest tricks that's happened over time, generationally, like historically, people understood the power of this, right? They understood witchcraft. They understood that there were dark forces that could be harnessed and to do harm. Okay. She's talking about Turning Point USA, the leadership there. He calls her up and asks her, "Are you a witch?" They know. You don't ask somebody, and it wasn't a joke. You don't ask somebody if they're a witch if you don't understand the darker forces that exist. And let me tell you, the reason why I told you where I grew up and who I am and all of that is because I think white people don't get this. In fact, I know they don't. I think the biggest trick that's been played on, one of the biggest tricks that's been played on white people, it makes them more susceptible to being like, oh, that's not possible. No, because that's not really part of our modern culture, is acknowledging these darker forces, acknowledging the harnessing of energy. We just blow it off like it's crazy. That's not science. That's not science. What are you talking about? That's crazy. Right. And that's a big trick, because you talk to some, you talk to some Mexicans and they know what you're talking about. They know, they know what you're talking about, unless they've been, really immersed in white culture, and they're not connected to their roots, then they may not acknowledge it. But if they grew up Mexican, they know all about this. They know all about this. And the Native American people know all about this. Okay? African people, they know all about this. So this exists. And I think that people are kind of missing the boat on it, because they just think, oh, that's crazy talk. That doesn't, what are you talking about? That's crazy. And let me tell you, this is what rules the world. These are gangs, and they practice rituals, and they harness energy, and they use it for their own benefit. And it's not just about one religion, one group. No, it's everywhere. It's everywhere. Let me tell you a little bit more through this clip, because you think, who signs up for witchcraft? What is this? Is crazy. She's lost her mind. Stay with me here, okay? Because this cult is very predatory, and they look for people who need support in the world. They look for the poor. They look for the isolated. They look for people that they can draw into it and influence and mold and handle. Take a listen to this.
Up weird anti-Semitism scandals and then having donors demand action. Anyway, I want you to hear Reverend Johnny Moore in his own words so you can catch his drift, catch his vibe, if you will. Take a listen.
So now, I'm involved in the ADL in all kinds of ways. I'm a part of the ADL and Aspen Institute Civil Society Fellowship. I'm on the advisory board for the Aspen Institute and ADL Civil Society Fellowship. It has shown me where we have to keep our eyes on certain trends and certain ideas, and when people say things, what they actually mean. It's been not only an amazing educational experience, a practical way for me to get into this fight against hate for good, but it has also afforded me the opportunity to learn so much along the way and to meet so many different people. And I can tell you, again, I'm not Jewish, I'm Christian, and yet I've just always felt at home, in the ADL community.
Now let's hear him, but let's put him in a yarmulke. Take a listen.
I know the state of Israel is strong. It's as strong as it's ever been. The truth is, you don't need us. But what I want you to know is that, need us or not, we are committed to building a great wall of Christian Zionism all over the world to push back the forces of anti-Semitism. But that also includes educating well-meaning Christians on our own history of Christian anti-Semitism.
So who is that guy? Who is Johnny Moore? Where did he come from? The answer is actually quite compelling. He was a kid that grew up in the Lynchburg, Virginia area. And I'm just going to actually read this first sentence from Christianity Today. It says, Johnny Moore was only 14 when he first stayed in the dorms at Liberty University. And since then, he's pretty much remained at the school that Jerry Falwell Sr. founded 41 years ago in Lynchburg, Virginia. Moore and his single mom family briefly lived in the dorms after his parents' divorce and a temporary stretch of homelessness. Okay. Now, somebody that went to school with him verified exactly that. They said he was a kid who grew up outside of Lynchburg. In high school, he was very poor. Very poor. They stressed this. Not a problem, obviously. I was poor too. But they also mentioned that Johnny had some severe daddy issues. I am told directly by someone who went to school with him that he made a name for himself in a long way. He got caught with some porn magazines and was pretty badly made fun of. Okay, kids make mistakes growing up. But it gets more interesting when you learn that suddenly little Johnny fell into a lot of money. He had a male mentor who bought him and everyone in his family, allegedly, brand new cars. So Johnny was Poe.
Okay, there's some patterns here. And listen, it's not about the religion, right? Because I've pointed this out before. It's like, why is a communist mayor in New York who took his vow on the Quran, meeting with Jewish men, wearing a yarmulke, and everybody's yucking it up, and like, why the cosplay? Because it's not about the religion. On the surface, it's about the cult underneath. And they're all a part of it. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. This is Naturally Inspired Radio.
Did you know 80% of beef consumed in the U.S. comes from 4 major corporations, much of it being imported or processed with additives? Want real beef from a real farm? Pumpkin Creek Ranch does things the right way. Local, grass-fed, dry-aged beef with no additives, no shortcuts, just honest quality.
Pumpkin Creek Ranch beef is the real deal. I love knowing exactly where my meat comes from. No additives, no nonsense, just honest quality beef.
Best beef I've ever had. You can taste the difference. Rich, tender, and packed with real flavor. Plus, supporting a local ranch makes it even better.
From pasture to plate, they raise their cattle with care, so you can get rich, natural flavor that only real ranching can provide. Stock your freezer with premium beef you can trust. Visit pumpkincreekranchco.com or call 970-658-0176.
Don't forget, I offer concierge service for all members. So if you feel like I need to go through my supplements, I need to understand what I really should be taking, my philosophy when it comes to supplementation is you must have a goal with it. If you were just taking a bunch of random stuff because you heard it was good, heard this was good, heard this good, listen, you got to dial it in. Right? You got to dial it into what really matters, and you must have a goal with what you're taking. So I provide concierge service for all of my members. We can get together, talk, and come up with a targeted plan for supplementation that goes towards your optimum health journey and is meaningful. Right, is meaningful. So you can book your assessment with me at naturallyinspiredstore.com. And if you're already a customer, I offer concierge service too. So if it's like you just don't like using ordering online, you don't like doing all that stuff, or it's complicated, or you have tech issues like me, I provide that concierge service for you. So give me a call or give me a text 720-303-8868, and I'm happy to help you. Okay, so here's what I'm talking about here. So all this stuff, like everybody's freaking out about what Candace is saying, right? And just hear me out here. A campaign was launched. As soon as she started, digging into some of this stuff, it was anti-Semitism. And that's a pattern. You know, we've got to get better at detecting these tactics to suppress things. Because anytime somebody says anything you don't like, that these people don't like, there's a response to it. And it isn't just the left. It's the right too. It's this, I don't like what you're saying, so you're an anti-Semite. You don't support Israel. You like all, whatever it is of the day, right? You're a racist. You're a misogynist. You're against women. Like the name calling, it's a tactic. It's a tactic. And we have to look beyond that. We have to allow people to cook, if you will. Let them speak. Listen, if they're your adversaries, you want them to speak, because if they're not being truthful, you want that exposed. Censoring anybody is suspicious. It's suspicious. Why do you need to shut them down? Right? So we have to be able to identify that, because there is something deeper here. Listen to this guy that she's talking to, right? This Moore kid who was recruited. Again, they prey on vulnerable people. Yeah, we'll take care of you. You just have to do this and that. And how many people have you heard talk about handlers? We're talking about Britney Spears. We're talking about all these people. They all have handlers. Everyone's like, they got handlers. What's going on here? Candace herself said, listen, when I started getting into this, I didn't really understand what I was getting into. And then I sort of felt like, hey, this person's trying to direct my career. They're trying to direct what I say. They're saying, hey, read this, read that. Like, what's going on here? They didn't, her and Charlie Kirk both didn't realize that they had been assigned handlers, because there's a deeper cult underneath this. And I don't know what you want to call it, okay? But if you're, wearing a yarmulke one day and you're swearing on the Quran the next day, like, how important is your religion to you? Right? How important is it? Are you willing to, put on a burqa and swear on the Quran if you're a Christian? Because I'm not doing that. I want it to be clear what I believe. I want God to know I'm committed. So I'm not going to switch it up just to be fashionable, to be, do I need to? Do I need to become your religion in order for you to accept me, for us to be friends? That's insane. It's not about that. It's about influencing the masses. Look, we're getting along great. It's about unification. And the unification isn't necessarily the religions that we see on the surface. No. It's about the cult. And the cult, you see, is all about one world, one new world order, right? One religion. Okay, so to kind of give you a demonstration of this, I want to go to this clip. This is a former high priest of the LDS Church. Listen to him explain.
Was given to Joseph Smith by God, word for word. Not realizing at that point it was changed multiple times. You always listen to your leaders and say, hey, these are men of God. They're not going to lie to you. So we went to the temple and we went through the endowment. You go through a washing and anointing. And when I say a washing, you remember how you go to a hospital and they kind of put a shield over you? Mm-hmm. Well, I was naked underneath this shield, and men would anoint me with water and oil, blessing me with water and blessing me with oil, touching all parts of my body, okay? They don't do that these days, but that's what they did back then. Then you received a new name, okay? And you had to present this name in the endowment. The endowment is the instruction process of how to live in the presence of God, or get to live in the presence of God. So that new name would be used later. You should never, ever forget it. So washing, new name, then you start the endowment procedure. And the endowment procedure is where, the washing and anointing was weird enough for me, okay? Because you strip down, you put your clothes in a locker, which is interesting. In that locker, you have a lock and a key, which I find it interesting. Why would you have a locker with a lock and key in the temple of God where only the people that's been vetted can go? It just was one of those things in my mind. And there are many things that will build on your mind, or you put it, what Mormons call put it on a shelf. Well, I'm not going to talk about it. I'll just put it up here, maybe look at it later on. So this washing and the endowment procedure is where you'll learn. And you go through basically the creation process in the garden with Adam and Eve and so forth. But during the time, you have to receive names and tokens and signs, which are actually, I did not know at this time, were Masonic. My dad was a 32nd degree Mason, and I had no idea that these handshakes, I knew about special signs, and my dad talked about handshakes and things, but he never revealed them to me. And then I finally found out after we'd been in the church for years that all these signs and tokens that we went through were the same things as Masonic signs and tokens and handshakes. So we had to use these procedures to get through the veil, and we received the authority of the priesthood and everything else as we were being.
These practices, these rituals, listen, first and foremost, I'm not picking on any one religion, and I don't think that everybody that's part of the LDS church is part of this deeper, darker cult, okay? And I don't think that everybody that is Jewish is part of the deeper, darker cult. And I don't think that everybody's that is part of a mega church or evangelical church is part of the cult. That's not how it works. The people who are part of the cult, they get selected. They get selected for one reason or the other, and they are everywhere. The cult is everywhere. It's in the military, it's in religion, it's in medicine, it's in Freemasonry, it's in secret societies. It's everywhere. It's actors, it's musicians, it's authors, and it's all to shape culture. It's to shape culture towards the cult, to lead you away, to lead you astray from good. And it's very powerful. And they do business. That's why I say there's corporate gangsters everywhere. Not every corporate gangster, I think, is part of the cult, although I think many of them are, because you don't really get that powerful without the influence of the cult, because they are so cutthroat. They don't want you getting ahead. You're not making it in the algorithm. They don't want, this is why I said the other day, Nick Shirley, I love, great for that kid and stuff. Also LDS, right? Selected with a handler. Just saying. Nothing's organic. He probably doesn't even know. But they know precisely what they're doing. They're controlling the culture. Stay tuned. Your naturally inspired moment is up next. You're not going to want to miss it.
Did you know that nearly 70% of Americans struggle with their health every single day? That's why we are reaching out to health professionals and to anyone who simply has a heart for helping people. Right now, there's an opportunity to make a real difference in people's lives while building a flexible income stream for yourself. Whether you're already working in health, wellness, or just passionate about seeing people thrive, we want to connect with you and introduce you to our system. Together, we can provide real solutions that empower people to take control of their health and create lasting impact. If you've been looking for a way to combine purpose with income, this is it. Visit simplehealthincome.com or text 720-764-7448. That's simplehealthincome.com or text 720-764-7448. We look forward to working with you.
Welcome back. Book your free health assessment with me at naturallyinspiredstore.com. Been spending so much time with you. And let me tell you, I enjoy so much our conversations. Sometimes it's heartbreaking for me to do these assessments because I see how people were stuck in the broken medical model for so long. And it's so predatory and, it has really had a huge impact on their life in a negative way. But on the other hand, I love connecting you to the information that you need. And I love that you're inspired to act and turn it around. So I really enjoy my time with you. And so I want you to know there are real solutions for health. And if you want to talk about it, schedule a free assessment with me at naturallyinspiredstore.com. You'll be glad you did. Okay. Let's go to the naturally inspired moment because I was so sad to learn today that Scott Adams died, the creator of Dilbert. I didn't know, I think I knew about Dilbert, the cartoon, but I really did not know who Scott Adams was or anything until COVID. And I used to see his videos early on in COVID and followed him on X and whatnot. And I'm not saying that, I don't know Scott Adams at all, but I will tell you that this is what inspired my naturally inspired moment for today, is that there were several times in several videos of Scott Adams that I detected a great deal of anger. And there, for good reason. It was during COVID, angry about the situation, angry that he took the vaccines and, angry that other people didn't take them. And he was really sorting a lot of that out. And just like any human was, but I did detect a lot of anger. And so as I was out this morning, or yesterday morning rather, just kind of reflecting on his passing, I just thought, that's a really good topic to bring up because I haven't talked about it for a while. Why releasing anger is essential for healing. It's essential, okay? Because anger is not just an emotion. It's a biological event in the body. And when we hold anger in, the body doesn't interpret it as a feeling, it interprets it as a threat. And stress hormones like cortisol, adrenaline, they flood our system and blood chemistry shifts and digestion shuts down. These are biological markers. It even increases inflammation. So over time, this creates kind of an acidic internal environment, and it's the perfect breeding ground for disease. And everything in the body operates on frequency. You've heard me talk about this before. Everything has a frequency. And we're kind of like little radio stations, we can tune in to certain frequency and we can feel it strongly, or we can, not tune in so strongly and get static. Our heart has a frequency, our brain emits electrical waves, and our cells communicate through electrical signals. So emotions carry frequency, and anger, it has a low, dense, chaotic frequency. It tightens tissue, it restricts oxygen, and it disrupts cellular communication. And when this becomes a chronic state, the body adapts to dysfunction, and that's when symptoms appear. Feelings like love, peace, gratitude, and forgiveness, they carry a higher, more coherent frequency. And these states support parasympathetic healing like rest, repair, digestion, detoxification, and regeneration. This is why people often begin to heal when they let go. When they let go. Not when they fight harder. And that's why I'm always saying, in the allopathic model, they're going to fight cancer. No, you're not. No, you're not. It's a communication. You got to receive the communication of dis-ease acknowledge it, and then ask for guidance. I'm ready to heal. I'm ready to heal. I'm ready to change my frequency. Show me how. We don't talk to our bodies like that, because a lot of this energy stuff that I've been talking about this whole hour, we don't believe in it. We've been programmed to think it's woo-woo, it's garbage, it exists. Let me tell you, it exists. Releasing anger does not mean approving what has happened, okay? And I think this is where a lot of people get stuck. It means refusing to let yesterday's pain control your biology today. Unleashed anger doesn't punish the person who hurt you. It punishes you. Punishes your nervous system, your hormones, your gut, your immune response. Healing only begins when we choose to release what no longer serves us. And listen, I'm Gen X, right? A lot of you are Gen X. Not all of you, but a lot of you are. And we're the first latchkey kids. And there was a lot of dysfunction in a lot of our families, right? And we didn't talk about our feelings. That's not how we were raised. We were raised to be strong. And that sometimes means a lot of repressed anger. And I'm begging you to hear what I'm saying and release anger. Release it, because it is hurting your health. So 5 naturally inspired ways to release anger today. Name your anger without any judgment. Suppressed emotions stay trapped in our body. Simply saying, I feel angry. And that's information. It helps shift the nervous system out of survival mode, acknowledging it. Right? How many times do we bite our tongue and not say anything? And just even think about your childhood alone, right? The way we grew up. You're not about to talk back to your parent or anybody in authority and say, yeah, well, this is what I think. That just didn't happen in our era. That didn't happen in our era. And when it did, there were severe consequences to that. So think about all of the instances where you suppressed feelings. Did you get shaky? Did you get nervous? What was the feeling in your body? Because that's energy. And when we shove it down, it goes into our tissues. And it stays there until we give it permission to leave. Number 2, move the body to move emotion. Anger is energy. All emotion is energy. That's why it has a frequency. So walking, rebounding, strength training, shaking, or somatic exercises, it helps discharge stored stress hormones and restore cellular flow. Number 3, breathe to change your frequency. Slow, deep exhales activates your vagus nerve. That 4-second inhale, 6 hold, and 8-second exhale to shift from fight or flight into healing mode. Number 4, express, don't repress. There's been a movement. There has been a movement for quite some time where anger is not an emotion we've had permission to have. Well, you don't want to get mad. You can't be angry. Listen, anger is normal. It's a part of the human condition. It's the way we express anger that's either healthy or unhealthy. So I don't know why, but there was a movement that's all about kindness and no, you shouldn't be angry and anger's bad. And no, it isn't. It's normal. It's normal. So express it in a healthy way. Write it down. If you don't have the words at the time, or you don't want to react, you'd rather take time to respond. You don't have to react in the moment. You can simply say, I'm not going to deal with that right now. I need to think about it. Right? And then get it out though. Don't just leave it at that and don't address it. Journal, speak it out loud, pray, write a letter that you never send, because expression releases acidic emotional charge before it embeds into your tissues and gets stagnant. Me, I'm like, blah, 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 blah. Ask Jason. He knows. I'm like, this, blah, blah, blah. You know, I just get off my chest and then, meh, it's over. I'm over it. But if I didn't do that, I would just stew. You know, I would stew on it and I'd replay it in my mind over and over again. And what's that doing to our biology? It's not healthy. So we have to find an outlet for anger. And exercise is great, right? I think it's very healthy. Things like martial arts, running. I love running because it's rhythmic. So it gets very meditative for me. Can't think about anything else when you're thinking about, you know, breathing because you're about to drop. You know what I mean? And I know running's not for everybody, but find something that that becomes kind of repetitive in nature so that you can just kind of, move that energy through your body without, having to have too many outside thoughts while you're doing it. And a lot of times when we're active in our physical body, we have to focus on that. And we can't continue to drum up ourselves through repetitive rumination on, I should have said this, I should have said that, I should have done that, kind of takes you out of that and you have to focus on what you're doing. So it's a great way to release anger through your physical body, physical movement. Choose forgiveness, not for anybody else, but for your body's sake, for you. For you. Forgiveness is for you. It isn't for anybody else. It's not approval. It's freedom. It raises your emotional frequency. It lowers inflammation to get that off your chest. You know, these old sayings that we've had for years about, they call them like old wives' tales or whatever. You wonder, I feel so much better now I got that off my chest. Yeah. Yeah. A lot of these sayings, they didn't sprout up from nowhere. They sprouted up because there was truth to it. Get it off your chest. Whether you have to write it, speak it into your phone and record it, there's so many different ways now that you can get, or you have to have a difficult conversation. Yeah, I don't think we have enough difficult conversations. Everybody's so petrified of confrontation nowadays. We do not have to agree on everything in order to support one another. We don't. And in fact, I think it's a sign of immaturity when we have to shut something off because we just can't, I can't listen to that. We don't have to agree. Give yourself some freedom. It raises your emotional frequency, lowers inflammation, and allows the body to return to coherence. Today's naturally inspired moment, release your anger. You'll be so glad that you did. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Are you ready to stay informed and inspired 24/7? Tune in to Naturally Inspired Radio anytime, anywhere. Visit naturallyinspiredradio.com, or for the best mobile experience, download the Simple Radio app. Search for Naturally Inspired Radio, save it to your favorites, and click on the graphic to listen instantly. Catch live broadcasts, revisit past shows, dive into long-form podcast conversations, and discover rare, censored presentations by leading health experts. Plus, explore documentaries uncovering the hidden truths of occult and esoteric history. Stay connected, stay inspired. Naturally Inspired Radio is always at your fingertips. Tune in now. For health questions or comments, text Tammy directly at 720-303-8868. NaturallyInspiredRadio.com.
Welcome to Naturally Inspired Radio, where we expose what's broken in the healthcare system, connect you to real health solutions, and inspire you to take back control of your life. We want to help you feel empowered, informed, and free to live naturally without fear, confusion, or dependency. Download our latest book on real solutions for health at naturallyinspiredradio.com. Naturally Inspired Radio is a nationally syndicated show broadcast on over 100 radio stations, online platforms, video channels, and podcast feeds. Follow us on your favorite platform today, hit that like button, leave a comment, and engage in our special live stream chats, Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Visit naturallyinspiredradio.com to learn more, register for our weekly giveaway, and explore past episodes. You can also connect directly with Tammy, follow her on all major social media platforms, and discover more about our featured guests and trusted radio partners. Are you looking for better health? Work with Tammy today and take the first step toward a healthier, more empowered lifestyle. Schedule your complimentary 30-minute lifestyle assessment to explore personalized guidance on nutrition, movement, toxin-free living, and natural beauty without pharma. Get started now and discover Tammy's preferred health products at naturallyinspiredstore.com or text Tammy directly 720-303-8868. Love the show and want to support the movement? Head over to naturallyinspiredradio.com and click on the support tab. There you'll find all the ways you can get involved. Join our Naturally Inspired community, become a preferred customer, attend one of our amazing live events, get your backstage pass for exclusive access, and connect to all things naturally inspired. Thank you for tuning in today. Now sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
The information and other content provided on this radio show or in any linked materials is provided for informational purposes only, not intended and should not be construed as medical advice. It is not a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment.
Welcome back. You're listening to Naturally Inspired Radio. Hey, if you missed the first hour, you got to go back. Today, we were talking about witchcraft. We're talking about the cult. We're talking about harnessing dark energy. And, like I said, I grew up not really thinking anything about that. And let me tell you, I got a whole different opinion of that now. I certainly do understand it. I understand the rituals of it. I understand why they do it. I understand, it's essentially Luciferianism. And we can get into a lot of that. Maybe at another time we should do a podcast about all of this. Maybe I'll bring somebody in to interview to discuss it at length, because it's very real. I think that's the trick. When you don't believe in it, you're like, they gotcha, because you don't even recognize what's happening. And so they can get away with it because it doesn't exist, right? But yet you have people like, Andrew Colvert at Turning Point USA asking Candace point blank, are you a witch? That they know. People that are involved in it, they know. And it makes a lot of sense why they don't mind swapping, different religious signals back and forth, because it's not really about the religion that's on the surface. And I think there's, like I said earlier, there's levels, right? And so certainly you're going to have completely people involved that have no idea what's going on in the upper ranks of these organizations. They have no idea. They're just part of it because that's their affiliation and they are spiritual. That's their spiritual connection. And so, they're innocently grouped in. So no, not everybody that is a part of this church or that church is a Luciferian. Okay. That's not what I'm saying. But what a great place to hide. Say if you were an evil type, what a great place to hide is to embed yourself in the appearance of doing God's work. See, when you start to look back behind the scenes and you realize, like behind the curtain, you realize, is this really about God's work? Like, what are we doing here? Because you're taking all this money and you're laundering it through NGOs and you're doing the government's work with, COVID and whatnot. And, it starts to make more sense. It starts to make a whole lot more sense. And so anyway, we'll probably touch on that again soon and bring more clarity to it. But I do want to talk about your culture here in America, because there are forces that would have you believe you don't have a culture. And that's more uniformity towards this one world, one type of homogenous society where we're all the same. And so you do have a culture. You do have a culture, American culture. It's the greatest culture, in my opinion. And you also have a generation. And while I was out running, I was thinking about this yesterday, about how we really need to claim our generation. In the effort to uniform everybody, make everybody the same clothes, same hair, same injections, same point of view, same belief system, individuality gets lost. And that's the point. They don't want us to have individuality. This is about control. Everybody step in line to the marching orders. And so now more than ever, it's important to claim your culture, but it's also important to claim your generation. Okay? Unapologetically. So I was doing some research on this, and guess what? Like, the labels of generations, they actually come from America. So some of the terms that we use to identify these different generations, they come from America. Things like the lost generation. That's 1883 to 1900. They came of age during World War I. The term popularized by Ernest Hemingway. It marked disillusionment, resilience, and cultural upheaval. The greatest generation. Okay, that was from 1901 to 1927. They grew up during the Great Depression. They fought in World War II. They were known for sacrifice, duty, and nation building. The term popularized by journalist Tom Brokaw. Number 3, the silent generation. This is 1928 to 1945. Childhood shaped by economic hardship and war, characterized as disciplined, cautious, and conformist. Many became civil rights leaders or early Cold War workers. The fourth generation, the baby boomers, 1946 to 1964, born during the post-World War II population boom defined by prosperity, suburbia, TV culture, associated with civil rights movements, Vietnam War, and Cultural Revolution. Gen X, that's 1965 to 1980, grew up with rising divorce rates and economic uncertainty, often described as independent, skeptical, and adaptable. Latchkey kids witnessed the rise of personal computers. Then we have millennials, 1981 to 1986, and then Gen Z, 1997 to 2012. And now we have Generation Alpha, which is 2013 to the present. So these generational labels originated in the United States. They're tied to things like world events, world wars, Great Depression, post-war economic expansion. Other countries borrow the terms, but they originated here in America. That's America, shaping culture all the time. So why this matters is because generational labels shape identity, they shape politics, they shape marketing, they shape workplace culture, social narratives, and they influence framework. Individuals are influenced by geography, family culture, socioeconomic conditions, values, and belief systems. So it's important to know your generation, and it's important to claim it unapologetically. Listen, I can remember from time to time, having my kids around, like Jason's grandma. She lived to, be in her late 90s or whatever. And she would use vocabulary that, Gen Z is like, whoa, I'm not correcting her. I am not correcting her, right? I never corrected her. You know why? Because she has the right to her generation. So we're walking around policing what everybody says, judging them, and trying to get them to conform to this new standard of how we should be acting. And I'm not doing it. I am not doing it. And I hope you'll join me, because this is what happens when we claim our generation. We teach other generations that they have to tolerate us. And they have to respect us, and that they can. They can do it. I understand you don't like the way I talk. You don't like the vocabulary choices that I have. Too bad. Because this is my generation. These are my standards. I formed my belief system through my generation, through my exposure to culture at that time. And if you're trying to change me, and we're trying to change everybody into today's culture, what are we going to learn? Everybody's going to be uniform. Everybody's using the same words. They're trying to act the same way to be politically correct, conformity, fit in. It's un-American. It's un-American. That's the fun of life, is being able to talk to other generations. I was talking to a lady doing an assessment with her the other day, and she's right now taking care of her dad, who's in his 90s. And I said, or is he in his 80s? I can't remember now. Anyway, he's old. He's old, right? And I said, wow, that is so cool that you're staying with your dad. You get to talk to him and stuff. Like, I can imagine the stories he has. Right? But I think that older generations, especially, they feel censored. It's like, should I say that? Should I not say? They don't even know what they are allowed to say anymore. And I want to call for an end to that. If somebody says a word that offends you, they're 90 years old, I think we can look over it. I don't think we have to seek to change everybody, because we are going to lose so much by doing this. We're not going to be able to have the open conversations and understand, get a look into what it was like. You're not going to get that. You're going to miss it because of the word police. We're not going to get a sense of our own evolution as humans living in America over time, because all of our history is being erased. So I, for one, I'm not doing it. I'm going to be who I am, who my culture shaped me to be during the time that I grew up and how I live. I'm not going to aim to offend people, but I will not ask permission to be who I am. And I hope that you will join me. That's your American culture. We'll be right back.
Did you know that a single collagen supplement could support your heart health, help protect against EMF exposure, and reduce inflammation all at the same time? Our preferred foundational collagen not only supports radiant skin and joint mobility, but also promotes heart health, reduces inflammation, strengthens hair and nails, provides added protection against the effects of EMF exposure, and so much more. Our favorite collagen is super absorbable and easy to take. Just 1 tablespoon in the morning and another in the evening for maximum benefits. Here's what our listeners have to say.
This collagen is so easy to take, I've noticed a huge difference in my hair and nails after just a few weeks.
Since I started using Tammy's preferred collagen, my joints feel more flexible and my skin looks smoother.
Try it today at naturallyinspiredradio.com/collagen. When you purchase from Naturally Inspired, you get access to our group health coaching call and so much more. Go to naturallyinspiredradio.com/collagen.
All of our monthly specials are available on our flip book. All you have to do to view the specials, so many buy one, get one free, still over 25 products. Take advantage of it at naturallyinspiredstore.com. Any questions that you have, browse through the flip. There's some great skincare too. I don't even talk about skincare that often. I should talk about it more because it's important. Skin's your biggest organ on your body, and all of our skincare products are EWG certified, which is a hard designation to get. That means they're non-toxic, no tox, and they work. They're fantastic. They make your skin feel so soft and clean and wonderful. We have some specials in the flip book on that. So view all the specials at naturallyinspiredstore.com. Take advantage. Any questions, just text me 720-303-8868. Let's get into some news stories because we got some good ones here. Marty McCary was on a podcast. I think it's Gary Brecka's podcast, if I remember right. But he goes on a monologue here and, man, I felt like clapping. I just felt like starting to clap. It was so good. So I had to share it with you. Again, Dr. Marty McCary, take a listen.
Evaluate the U.S. healthcare system over the last 50 years. When it comes to gene therapy and sophisticated operations and proton beam therapy for cancer, it's been a sophisticated success story for some individuals. Mm-hmm. But if we talk about the U.S. healthcare system in terms of the performance indicator of the health of the population, mm-hmm. U.S. healthcare has been a 50-year failure. Mm. We have got to do something different. We cannot just hope that the next gene therapy is going to solve all our problems or the next pill is going to come along. We have got to talk about school lunch programs, not just putting 6-year-olds on Ozempic. We've got to talk about the quality of sleep, not just putting somebody on first and second line antihypertensives. We've got to talk about natural light exposure, something I know that you talk about.
Amazing.
Think about what we do with kids. Mm-hmm. We take a kid in the middle of their circadian rhythm of a deep sleep, we rattle them, put them on a school bus while it's dark outside.
Right.
Not because it's good for their circadian rhythm or natural light exposure, but because it's convenient for adults going to work.
Mm-hmm.
And then they sit under a micro flashing fluorescent light all day long, sometimes with less natural light exposure than an inmate in a penitentiary.
That is astounding.
And then we hit them with massive glycemic indices. Over and over again, we pound them with things that make their insulin levels spike. The cells don't like high sugar in the circulating system, so they try to block it. We call it insulin resistance. And that blockage does damage. It's at the root of probably half the conditions we treat. 75% of healthcare costs go to chronic diseases. Most chronic diseases are related to the same old problems of insulin resistance and inflammation. We get almost no education.
Are they listening to Naturally Inspired? I feel like they're listening. They must be listening, because I think I just went on that exact rant about the education system. How, everything's corrupt, right? Everything's corrupt. And I pointed at the education system because, every decision they make, it ain't about the kids. It's not about the kids. Let's go down to a 4-day week. Let's, just more homework, more this, more. It's not about the kids. Listen, when you wake up to that, you realize that system they don't deserve your kids. They don't deserve your kids, because that whole system is set up for adults. Anyway, what he's talking about here, insulin resistance, absolutely. Prevention. People do not, and with the rise of the internet and all of the education that we have available to us, it's wonderful, but we're always pushing back against marketing. There's always the latest and greatest, way to capture your information when it comes to health, which is why so many people have, all these supplements and miracle remedies or whatever that they don't really have a goal with. And listen, obviously I love supplements. I sell them. I'm not saying that they're bad. I'm saying we can get overwhelmed and confused and we think we need all of this stuff. And listen, what's really important when it comes to supplementation is consistency. Consistency. Prevention, living in prevention is consistency. It's every day. It's committing to a protocol, not committing to 1 month of it and then going off of it and then starting something else and then going off of that. How many half bottles of, supplements that, and by the way, the research in the supplement industry is fantastic. They work if you take them. And if you're consistent. There's this disconnect between, the pharmaceutical model. When we take pills in the pharmaceutical model, we expect immediate results because it ain't healing. Healing isn't instantaneous. Pharmaceuticals are instantaneous, but healing is not instantaneous. And supplementation, vitamins, minerals, that's not instantaneous. That is a tool to assist your body with the raw materials it needs to create healing. So totally different concept. This is how I demonstrate it. Imagine there's a giant hole in the earth, okay? Like a 6-foot hole in the earth. Sometimes that's how far we've dug ourselves in to deficiency. And deficiency is disease. All disease comes from some sort of deficiency. Okay? So we've dug ourselves this 6-foot hole of deficiency. And we throw a couple pills in there, take a couple vitamins. Is it going to fill the 6-foot hole? No, it's not going to. So every time you take your vitamins, you put a shovel of dirt in that 6-foot hole. Every time you exercise, you put another shovel of dirt in that hole. Every time you make a food choice that contributes to a healthy metabolic system, a healthy metabolism, you put another shovel of dirt in that hole. Every time you manage your stress, express your anger, understand that your thoughts create feelings in your body. And so you respond to them instead of react. You put another scoop, you put another shovel full of dirt in that 6-foot hole. And you just keep shoveling all of those activities, all of those habits, until eventually that 6-foot hole is all filled in. But it doesn't happen overnight. That is what people need to understand about true healing. That is true healing. The body, well, listen, it doesn't get to dis-ease overnight either. You dug that 6-foot hole long time ago. You started digging that hole long time ago. And now you're here with a 6-foot hole. And you expect the 6-foot hole to fill in overnight because you're uncomfortable. All growth is uncomfortable. The journey you're on right now, it's meant to grow you, to enrich you, to teach you how to become the steward of your body and respond to its communication. So these are ways we think about health that must shift if we want a new healthcare system. Because if people get frustrated, they don't understand how healing works. This isn't working. This isn't working. Well, no, it doesn't work overnight. You know, and we still need pharma, because if we're in emergency situations, we have to make sure that we're aiding our body with that pharmaceutical with the intent to facilitate healing, though. See, right now, we don't have an intent to facilitate true healing. Right now, we sign up for pharmaceuticals and they tell us it's for life. That's unacceptable. That's unacceptable. We have to start asking, how do I heal? This is a Band-Aid. How do I heal? How do I get to root cause, right? How do I fill in the 6-foot hole? And if they can't tell you how to do it, then it's up to you. You got to take personal responsibility. You got to chase down the answers. You got to chase down the answers. That's what we're here to do, is help you chase down the answers, help you connect to the real information. So there's several things, that have to happen for us to understand, this new paradigm of health. It's a lot, it's not just as easy as getting a new food pyramid and understanding that big pharma is bad. There's more to it here. We've been conditioned to think a certain way about our health. Sit and wait until something goes wrong. Then you go to the doctor, right? No, you've got to be tending to your health every day. You've got to be living in prevention every day. You don't sit and wait till something goes wrong. That's crazy. You tend to your health every day and you expect that everything will go right. And if something goes wrong, then you investigate. You understand that whatever it was, something that went wrong, is communication coming from your body for you to shift something, to respond differently. So the way we think about our health is so important when we're shaping health in this country. So there's a lot of things, that have to happen, but I'm excited for it because we are at least having these conversations now, right? What? Light? Yes. Kids, they don't function well early in the morning. They need more sleep. They need more sleep to regulate nervous system, to, compensate for growth spurts. Like this getting up at 6 o'clock in the morning to be at school at 7 a.m., it does not serve our children's physiology. Well, let me tell you, a new model of education is coming anyway. Don't we know it? With the digital revolution and AI, this broken model of education is on its way out. That is for sure. We don't quite yet know what it's going to look like, but hey, you didn't win over the parents in the last couple of decades when it comes to education. You actually turned on us and made us the enemy. And there's going to be consequences to that for sure with technology coming. Okay, stay tuned. I still have 2 more news stories. I've got your health topic and more. This is Naturally Inspired Radio. I'm Tammy Cuthbert-Garcia, and I am so glad that you are here.
Did you know 80% of beef consumed in the U.S. comes from 4 major corporations, much of it being imported or processed with additives? Want real beef from a real farm? Pumpkin Creek Ranch does things the right way. Local, grass-fed, dry-aged beef with no additives, no shortcuts, just honest quality.
Pumpkin Creek Ranch beef is the real deal. I love knowing exactly where my meat comes from. No additives, no nonsense, just honest quality beef.
Best beef I've ever had. You can taste the difference. Rich, tender, and packed with real flavor. Plus, supporting a local ranch makes it even better.
From pasture to plate, they raise their cattle with care, so you can get rich, natural flavor that only real ranching can provide. Stock your freezer with premium beef you can trust. Visit pumpkincreekranchco.com or call 970-658-0176.
Pick your protocol and receive free shipping at naturallyinspiredstore.com. Need help with energy? We have a protocol for that. Getting brain fog? Do you need more brain power? There's a brain protocol for that. How about your hair? Are you concerned about your hair? There's a protocol for that. What about stress and anxiety? Do you need help in that department? There's a protocol for that. Also, insulin fit. If you're concerned about insulin resistance, there is a protocol for that, and so much more. Blood pressure protocol, joint relief protocol, inner peace. We have so many different protocols on the website there, and all come with free shipping. And of course, you get into the Naturally Inspired community by purchasing one of the protocols. So if you have any questions, you need help, there's not a protocol for what I want to tackle, 720-303-8868, naturallyinspiredstore.com. Tom Brady. Poor Tom Brady. I'm going to pick on him for a minute. I don't think anybody feels like poor Tom Brady. Can I just tell you that I saw a Instagram video today, and it was actually from a comedian that we saw on New Year's Eve. And he was like in the what do they call it? The parking lot, like the gate tailgating party for the latest football game or whatever. And he was interviewing, fans and talking about how much they love this particular football player and stuff. The way that professional sports has captured many men's consciousness to a point of a cult level is truly astonishing to me. Like, these men are, I just don't get it. There's a lot of men out there that are so obsessed with sports. It's like, it's a really great distraction. And, it's just fascinating to me. Anyway, Tom Brady, he is out there slinging pizzas, but he's also slinging pharmaceuticals. Watch this.
Downfall of Tom Brady continues. He's now out there shilling Pizza Hut of all things because he misses saying the word hut.
You know what I miss most about playing? Yelling hut!
Yeah, don't mind that Pizza Hut pizza contains shocking amounts of microplastics in their ingredients, which these toxic plastic forever chemicals are linked to things like obesity, cancer, infertility, diabetes, and cardiovascular disease. But don't worry, Tom has got a solution to sell you.
I'm Tom Brady. I'm here today to talk about eMed, where I proudly serve as the founding chief wellness officer.
That's right. Tom Brady is now the quote-unquote newest face of GLP-1s. 7-time Super Bowl champion is the new chief wellness officer of eMed, a digital health startup that helps companies manage the high costs associated with covering popular weight loss drugs for their employees. Weight loss drugs like Zepbound and Wegovy have taken the world by storm. In just a few years, millions of people have turned to the medications called GLP-1s to lose weight. They work by mimicking a hormone that makes people feel full and eat less with relatively few side effects. Relatively few side effects, except for, things like pancreatitis, gallbladder problems, kidney injury, thyroid C tumors, severe allergic reactions, severe stomach problems, and hypoglycemia. I don't know about you, but none of this sounds all too...
Listen, don't let these people get away with this. Who's still buying into this? I think so much has been revealed, right? Obviously through COVID and stuff, when we saw these movie stars, musicians, famous people, celebrities, get your COVID shot, who still believes this garbage? I think you have to be zombified to really there's my favorite NFL football player selling Pizza Hut. Oh, I'm going to dial me up some Pizza Hut. Is there really people that still think like this? Have you no shame? You're selling Pizza Hut, right? Which is high carbohydrate, insulin resistance producing food. I mean, I hate to be the buzzkill here. Everybody likes a slice of pizza from time to time. I get it. But, I'm pretty sure he's probably not eating pizza. And that's the gross thing about these celebrities, is that half the stuff they're hawking, they don't use, and they would never use, or they would never let their kid use. And that's what's so gross. They're benefiting, and they're kind of laughing at us like, you idiots. You're going to eat Pizza Hut because I'm selling it to you. I really miss saying hut, hut. Insane. This is insane. And then in the same breath, you are the official wellness expert for e-medicine, which is drive-by medicine, where you can, everybody's taking GLP-1s on Instagram. I think I'll book myself an appointment and get myself some GLP-1 too. Never mind, my face is probably going to fall off my skeleton, because that's what it appears to be doing to people. You have to be zombified. You have to be absolutely zombified to be impacted by these people. So don't let these people get away with this anymore. Don't let them get away with it. Yeah, we like your football. Great. You're a great athlete. I hope that very, very soon, because I watch some of these commercials from time to time, especially when they go viral. And I'm just like, who is watching this? Who is watching this and thinking, yeah, go get me some Pizza Hut? It's insulting. It's insulting our intelligence. Stop. You don't have to come up with a new way to market things, because this is just too much. Down in Florida, they're doing some wonderful things down there. And this is finally making, a big headlines. It's the fact that baby formula is largely toxic. Did you know this? I've reported on this several times, but now there's some action happening. So take a listen to Mrs. DeSantis down in Florida.
As part of our Healthy Florida First initiative, we are launching what will be a series of, I believe, major announcements focused on safety and integrity of our food supply. We are beginning with baby formula because it affects the most vulnerable among us, and we have an obligation that we absolutely must get this right. The Florida Department of Health has collected 24 infant formulas from 7 different brands purchased for multiple locations, both online and in stores. Those samples were tested for arsenic, cadmium, lead, and mercury. And what we found in those 24 samples was troubling. Of the 24 infant formulas tested, 16 of those formulas contained at least 1, if not more, heavy metals that exceeded federal standards. There is a silver lining, however, that is really important to mention. Some of the formulas did not show elevated levels. that tells us that contamination is not inevitable. There are better choices for parents, but we have to stay on top of this, and we have to drive accountability.
Breast is best, right? Breast is best and not chest. Hear me clearly. Chest is not best. Breast is best. I know there's some people out there that'll try to con you into saying that you can chest feed. No, you can't. No, you can't. But this is good news, right? That we're looking at baby formula. But I mean, imagine, back in the 70s and even in the 80s too, they were actually actively telling mothers that formula was better and that they didn't need to breastfeed because formula was actually better. It had more nutrients in it. I mean, the cons that have gone down in this country, in the Western world, you just gotta, this is why it's so important to not just blindly conform, so important to critically think and to make your own decisions, because there's always an agenda. There's always an agenda behind the cult, let me tell you, pushing out different products all the time, synthesizing, it's a pattern, synthesizing what occurs naturally, like synthesizing any natural process, corrupting it, right? And trying to emulate it so that you can profit off of it. You see it everywhere. You see it in agriculture. We're seeing it in robots. Like we're just, it's a pattern. We continually see it over and over again. Breast milk is best for the baby. It has so many benefits to it. Obviously, there are emotional benefits to it, even IQ benefits to it from what I've read. So many benefits for health, immunity, on and on and on. So of course, that's the number one choice that we should all be making. But in the event that we cannot do that, we should probably have baby formula that's not toxic, laced with heavy metals, right? In the United States of America, you would think that would be the norm, right? Non-toxic baby formula, but it's not. So when you sit there and you think, I want the FDA to tell me what I should put in my body and what I shouldn't, or the CDC said, or, the WHO said, think again. Think again. Okay? Because they're not all they're cracked up to be, are they? There are many, 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 many things that have slipped through the cracks, if you want to say. If you're not aware of things like user fees that can be paid for, the screening of your product, like these titles don't mean a lot anymore right now, because these institutions, let's just say most of us don't have much trust in them anymore. They've lied. They've been sloppy. I mean, that's being gracious. That's being gracious that they've been sloppy. One might think they're totally corrupt and captured, right? Who owns baby formula companies? Look it up. It's the same old, same old. Stay tuned, everybody. Your health tip topic is up next. I'm going to be talking to you about Berberine, specifically Berberine versus Metformin. You're going to want to hear it, so stay tuned. We'll be right back in 1 minute.
Did you know that nearly 70% of Americans struggle with their health every single day? That's why we are reaching out to health professionals and to anyone who simply has a heart for helping people. Right now, there's an opportunity to make a real difference in people's lives while building a flexible income stream for yourself. Whether you're already working in health, wellness, or just passionate about seeing people thrive, we want to connect with you and introduce you to our system. Together, we can provide real solutions that empower people to take control of their health and create lasting impact. If you've been looking for a way to combine purpose with income, this is it. Visit simplehealthincome.com or text 720-764-7448. That's simplehealthincome.com or text 720-764-7448. We look forward to working with you.
Welcome back. Don't forget to take advantage of the health assessment. Just you and me. We can do it on Zoom. You can do it over the phone, but we take some time out. I listen. You know, what are your chief health concerns? We talk it through. We discover a lot. It's kind of like a little bit of an investigation. And we talk about how you can connect to real solutions for health. So if that sounds like something that you could benefit from, I know many people have, you can schedule your free assessment at naturallyinspiredstore.com. If you have any questions about this process or how to get into the Naturally Inspired community, just text me 720-303-8868. All right, let's get on to your health topic because I know you want to know about this, okay? Berberine versus Metformin. Here are 7 key points that you need to know about it. So, blood sugar control. That's the key purpose of Berberine and Metformin. Similar outcomes, but different paths, okay? Both Berberine and Metformin, of course, Metformin's a pharmaceutical, they help lower blood glucose and improve insulin sensitivity. Studies show Berberine can perform comparably to Metformin for reducing fasting glucose, especially in people with insulin resistance or pre-diabetes, okay? So here's how it works. Both activate AMPK, adenosine monophosphate activated protein kinase, often called the body's metabolic master switch. Metformin's pharmaceutical activation of AMPK. Berberine is plant-derived compound that activates AMPK naturally. So the result is improved glucose uptake. It reduces liver glucose production and better metabolic efficiency. So let's talk about the gut microbiome impact, though. Okay, this is a major distinction. Berberine has antimicrobial properties that can positively reshape the gut microbiome, which plays a direct role in insulin sensitivity and inflammation. Metformin disrupts the gut for some people, commonly causing bloating, diarrhea, and nausea. The gut metabolism connection is increasingly recognized as central to blood sugar control and optimum metabolic health. Very important. And we've talked about gut health here so much, and we'll continue to because it is a huge part of overall health. So 4, let's talk about side effects and tolerability. Metformin commonly causes GI distress, vitamin B12 depletion. So it's actually robbing you of vitamin B12. And that can have impact on your nervous system and so much more. And in rare cases, it causes lactic acidosis. Berberine very rarely causes any digestive upset, but and it's usually initially when you first start, but it's often better tolerated when dosed correctly and also when you take it with meals, and then that resolves. And Berberine does not deplete any other vitamins or minerals from the body like Metformin. So the whole body benefit, Berberine offers a broader metabolic support because it improves healthy cholesterol and triglycerides. It also supports your liver health at the same time. It reduces inflammation, supports cardiovascular markers. Metformin is more single-targeted towards glucose regulation alone, which is the pharmaceutical model. Right? So go back to what we were just talking about when it comes to healing. The thing about Berberine is you have to be consistent with it. right? You can't just take it for half a month and go, oh, that doesn't work. Okay? Don't do that. Don't do that. You're cheating yourself. Okay? Consistency is king when it comes to bringing the body back to homeostasis. Hormonal and mitochondrial effects. Berberine supports mitochondrial efficiency, helps cells use energy more effectively. Metformin can actually impair mitochondrial function in some individuals over time, and that also can contribute to fatigue. So the difference matters for long-term metabolic resilience. Prescription versus lifestyle tool. This is one of those dynamics that I've been describing today, especially. We have to stop thinking, that we need pharmaceuticals to heal. I'm not allowed to say that word. I'm not allowed to say heal. I just said it. So we need to stop thinking like pharmaceuticals are the answer. There you go. I don't want to get shut down, got to be careful about my vocabulary all the time. I'm just terrible at being careful with my vocabulary, just terrible at it. Terrible. I don't know. Anyway, you can think about it as a recovery process when it comes to using berberine as a tool, ongoing, right? So pharmaceuticals kind of targeted. It's like, oh, this will fix me. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. It actually, it confuses the body because the body goes, you don't want this signal. I'm trying to save your life. You don't want this signal? Okay, you're going to shut this signal up by synthetically, using chemicals to do that? Well, okay. Bingo. I'm going to pop up with another signal, another signal. Because the body is programmed to save your life. It's so special, really. It's programmed into your DNA. Your survival is programmed into your DNA. It will do everything in its capability to communicate with you. Something needs to change. We got to fix this. We got to fix this. We got to fix this. You're going to shut that signal off. Here's another signal. You're going to shut that signal off. Here's another signal. It never stops fighting for you. It never stops trying to communicate what the issue is. It's really so amazing. It just amazes me all the time. So metformin can impair mitochondrial function. That's not good, right? Prescription versus lifestyle tool. Metformin's a prescription drug often used when metabolic dysfunction is already advanced. Berberine is a nutraceutical that can be part of a proactive, lifestyle-based approach alongside of nutrition, alongside of movement, right? Muscle. So important for metabolic health. I cannot stress that enough. Sleep is part of the daily ritual that keeps us in optimum health. It's a vital sign. If your sleep is constantly disruptive, this is communication from your body. Listen and respond accordingly. How do I get my sleep back on track? Circadian rhythm, right? Start with morning light, start with stress regulation, take down sugar intake, ultra processed foods, get all of that stuff out. Start flooding the body with protein, flood the body with healthy fats, hydration, movement, good self-talk. We've talked a lot about clarity and focus recently, especially in the naturally inspired moment. Focus is so important, and we have so much noise that people have a really hard time focusing now. So even when we're focusing on something, when we're purposely trying to focus on something, studies show we're spending about 75% of our thought on that activity, and still 25% is these other useless thoughts that are taking us away from our focus. So many people explore berberine as a first line of strategy because it works and it's comparable and it has way less side effects. Okay. Along with, listen, it's not a silver bullet. I'm not going to blow smoke here. You know, we have to get away from thinking that pills solve all our problems. In the sense of supplementation, supplements are tools, very much needed tools, but they are just that. They're tools that you use along your healing journey. You can pick up your Insulin Fit protocol at naturallyinspiredstore.com. It's one of those protocols that comes with free shipping. Our product is called Burn in this package to help you on your way to restoring homeostasis to your metabolic health, which we now know is the foundation of all health. All health. So a lot of changes coming, you know, it's going to take time to shift the health paradigm into what it needs to be, where we understand that we have to live life in prevention. You know, we don't even get an owner's manual of this thing, you know, this body. We get no owner's manual. I think it's time we kind of, you know, put one into effect with it's just common knowledge of how to operate your body. Everybody's an individual, you know, so it's not about uniformity when it comes to health, but there is a foundation of practices that curate optimum health. Good sleep, good nutrition, you know, good movement, good stress management, tools for expression, emotional intelligence, understanding how emotions like anger impact our overall health and well-being. None of this stuff gets talked about when it comes to health. So you and I have to start having these conversations and spreading this information so that it becomes common knowledge. What we buy, how we discuss health in our workplace, in our family, in our communities. This all has an effect on the people around us, and especially when you start getting results. Let me tell you, nothing convinces and speaks louder than results. When you get results, people want to know how you got those results. And isn't it wonderful to be able to say, hey, I stepped into a new lifestyle. I changed the way I eat. I started moving my body. I was seeking to understand my emotions and their impact on my health. And I made it a priority. And now I've got these new results. And that's inspiring to other people. And those kinds of results will inspire other people to take action. And that is how we get ourselves out of this disease care model of healthcare. Because when you get results this way, which I believe is the right way, there's no going back to that broken model. You don't ever want to go back to that broken model. They don't even listen to you over there. It's pointless. And once you understand with confidence how to curate health in your body, teach your kids, teach your community, that's true change. We don't need any politicians to make any more laws, especially about health. Stay out of my health. We need action. And we need it from you. So glad you joined me today. This has been Naturally Inspired Radio. We're back tomorrow, same time, same place. See you then.
Are you ready to stay informed and inspired 24/7? Tune in to Naturally Inspired Radio anytime, anywhere. Visit naturallyinspiredradio.com, or for the best mobile experience, download the Simple Radio app. Search for Naturally Inspired Radio, save it to your favorites, and click on the graphic to listen instantly. Catch live broadcasts, revisit past shows, dive into long-form podcast conversations, and discover rare, censored presentations by leading health experts. Plus, explore documentaries uncovering the hidden truths of occult and esoteric history. Stay connected, stay inspired. Naturally Inspired Radio is always at your fingertips. Tune in now. For health questions or comments, text Tammy directly at 720-303-8868. NaturallyInspiredRadio.com.